Hello Capsuleer, my name is Gildy and welcome to EVE Online. I've done some UI tips and tricks videos in the past, but they are taken out of context of setting up your UI right from the start. They are on different advancement levels, they are of different usage to different types of players, sometimes they are completely situational, though it seems that people love them, which warms my heart. This time, I decided I need to sit back and take a look at the UI from the perspective of a new player because, let's be honest, the default UI setup is awful, which is a fact that a lot of players forget about. Moreover, some of you out there still live like that. I've seen some of the screenshots out there. So, to alleviate the pain and suffering of having to deal with selected item window that covers half of your screen, here is some tips for new players to make your lives a little easier. First, security tip. If you are in high sec, low sec or null, you should know who's in your system. Is it gankers you already hate and tagged as red? Is it some guy going through the system where you're huffing gas, so you need to check if he's a hunter or maybe a harmless indie signer alt? All that can be done for the low price of a little bit of your screen space. Take out the local chat window as its own separate thing and keep it open at all times. That way, you can see what is going on at all times and forgetting that you tapped out to your corp chat and you're having some fun won't take away your chance to catch a red appearing in local. An extra tip here is to, once you pull the local chat to the side, open its options, go to the member list and show compact member list. This is very, and I mean very helpful in cramming more people into that local list, making sure you don't have to expand it from top to bottom of your screen unless, well, you're in Jita and for some reason want to know who's there. Next one is about your overview. Whichever you are using, be it the basic, please change that, or one of the public ones like ZS, which you can access in its own chat, you need to know that you can change them easily. You can access the ZS, if you don't know what I'm talking about, by clicking the plus next to chats, then putting in Z-S space overview, like you see on the screen, into the bar over there, then hitting join. That opens up a whole in-game channel where you can check different versions of the overview. The changes I'm talking about are not something like changing what kind of ships it shows you, adding new entities to it, or redesigning it completely. That's material for a complete separate video, but let's say you got the standard ZS overview, but you do not give a damn what alliance the player you see is from. You want to see the important stuff like their velocity, so you can see if you are going to catch them or not, or their transversal, so you see if you can track them or not. You can do this in a few simple clicks. First, right-click any of the columns like the distance, name, type, then select which columns you want there to begin with, and if you got your choices, but need to rearrange stuff, off you go to change order. This opens a second window where you can easily drag and drop columns in your overview and arrange them how you like them. The more up on the list you drag it, the more to the left of the overview it goes. Then we got another one that some people either don't know about or love to torture themselves by not using this tip. By default, if you open your directional scanner or probe scanner window, they both start anchored on the system map. So you pull the whole map out every time you open any of those. But there is hope. If you click this little window, it detaches each one of those windows from the system map, allowing you not only to get them out of it so your screen doesn't get blocked with it, but you then can position them on the screen anywhere where it suits you. This next tip might not be for everyone, but if you got a smaller screen and need help fitting all the windows on there, it may save you some headache. Hit escape and look for UI scaling option just below the display mode and window size. If you push it down to 90%, it can help you squeeze that UI a little, helping you get the information you need on the screen. And while we're in that display settings menu, Do yourself a favor and change your display mode from full screen to fixed window. It's just another name for borderless window, which helps you if you Alt-Tab to get some information from EVE Wiki, watch YouTube on the other screen while playing, or simply want to start multiboxing. If you keep it at full screen, the game keeps hiding itself and freaking out when you focus on a different application, but the fixed window is a quick and easy fix for that, so you don't have to play in windowed mode and lose yourself screen space from the top bar and your taskbar. Another one, which was quite a good change for in-game UI, was introduction of the compact mode. It takes away the extra fluff from most UI windows, which usually lets you keep them a tiny bit smaller. This isn't a lot, but with the amount of different windows an average EVE player uses, it all adds up for a way easier and smoother experience. You can of course go to each window and change it to your liking, but this can be a painful task, especially if you want to set this up for several accounts. If you don't like the sound of that, get back to settings by hitting escape, hit the fourth option, user interface, and scroll till you see window appearance. There is a small option there you can tick enable compact mode by default. It's a great and quick way of dealing with having to turn it on for every single window on your client. Then you can just disable it for the few where you do prefer not having compact mode on. Now to squeeze absolutely everything out of that escape menu, it's maybe not a life-changing thing, but it could help you, a new player, to get the connections of which faction in-game has which ships, which drones are there, or what kind of ECM you should use against them. Have you noticed something about the things I just mentioned and you saw on the screen? It's the colors they have, be it on the module itself or in their background. Yes, EVE is showing you all that stuff to make sure you can recognize and memorize that easier. So if you want to maybe speed up the learning to recognize those patterns of colors, you can go back to the escape menu and still in the user interface section, scroll to the bottom. You can then click this little button that says match theme to active ship. See what happens when I swap ships between the four main empires? The whole UI color changes, which should help you a little pinpoint the theme for each faction, hopefully having it click, figuring out that, oh, this is a Galenta ship and that's Caldari, etc. And all that just because you will be able to recognize the color patterns that are assigned to each of the factions. But wait, there's more. Have you been struggling with undocking from Jita? Does your PC suddenly start sounding like it's taken off to outer space? There is a quick fix for that. First, as I mentioned in a video around a year ago, you can move EVE to a quicker drive. I moved my files from an old hard drive to an SSD and it helped tremendously. But if you're still struggling and usually play with quality settings, it can be painful to have to put everything on low just to undock, then put the settings back to high. If only there was a way to do it fast. Wait, there is one actually. In display and graphics settings, after you hit escape, at the end of graphics content settings, there are presets. Simply hit optimize settings and then go for performance, which will drop you to what EVE players call lovingly potato mode. Once you are done, go back there, hit optimize for quality and voila, you're done. If you want to do it even faster, because you just undock and hit warp to an insta undock bookmark, you can go into the ultimate potato mode, Ctrl-Shift F9, which turns off exterior view, stopping or rendering. This is the last one in this menu, I promise, but it might save you a lot of irritation. When your ship is hit, when you enter or get close to exiting warp, your camera might shake. It's a nice little thing when you start, but when you're trying to pick up PI materials from a POCO quickly because you are in low sec and someone might be hunting you, and your camera starts shaking, making it harder to open the damn thing, it's not so fun anymore. If camera shake frustrates you, go to the camera settings and turn it off right here. Now that we're out of that settings menu, let's look at the Neocom here. See how it's nice and organized? Yours can be too. This bar is fully customizable. You can put it on the right side of your screen if that's what you're into. Tell it to hide when you don't have cursor at the edge of your screen. If you have an option you use a lot, like contacts or your PI, you can go to them, right-click and add shortcut to the main bar. You can even make folders where you drag and drop things you already pinned, so you can make quick access folders with all you need and organize them however you want. And lastly, a thing, which is a godsend if you are an explorer that scans their area often. You don't want to be checking the whole list of tens if not hundreds of bookmarks every single time you enter a system. So, in order to make your life easier, why not go for the local locations window? You can open the location window with L, and if you do that, there is that little thing called locations and XYZ system you are in right now. On the right side of that is a little square you can click and a new window opens. This one shows you only bookmarks in your current system, so if you're scanning and want to see if a bookmark from yesterday is still up to date or if it needs to be deleted, that's a perfect solution. And if you like, you can, well, sorry to bring it up again, hit escape, go to shortcuts, start typing location, and you can bind local locations to a key. I changed mine to have local ones under L, like it used to be till CCP changed it, and added regular locations window under Alt L. This time for real, final advice. Don't be afraid to move things around. If you don't use a window, move it, make it smaller, or get rid of it completely. I will show you my current setup on the screen. Maybe you like this, maybe you will prefer someone else's. You can ask your corp mates for how they have theirs set up or experiment with it. As long as you're not staying with the complete default and have all the new windows pop up in the same spot and on top of each other, you should be fine. But have some fun and don't be afraid of changing things up. If you think there are some tips I forgot about, share them in the comments. This video is for the new bros out there, so let's get as much good UI advice for them out there, and if we get enough of it, I will make another video to compile them all. If you enjoyed this video, share it with a corp mate that might need it, leave a like, subscribe to see my future uploads, or even hop on my Discord server linked in the video description. If you are interested in what I will talk about next, my videos go up every Sunday. And if we never see each other in space again, Capsulia, fly safe!